thought I'll take a short test drive of the Monster. Just heading to the Ducati showroom to get few things done on this bike. One, I'm changing the handlebar. The amount of track sessions I'll do on this bike are gonna be very limited. I might just do one more because I'm still trying to figure out what's the best bike for a track with my budget restrictions. I'm not in the market to purchase a big bike. I have, as I said earlier in previous videos, I have only two options. One, sell this and get something in the similar cost, maybe around 10-11. Option number two is to rent a RC390 or buy an RC390, new or used one, we can decide later. Renting is kind of expensive, 20,000 every track session. In a year I might end up spending almost a lakh or two. With that money I can put down on a used one. That's an option I'm seriously considering. I have one more session in November, so you don't want to miss that. And in case you want to join me, I'll share on Instagram the registration link, so you can be on the track with me. Maybe not on the same group, because I'll be on a level 3 group. You might, if you're a beginner, you'll be on level 1, level 2. What bike for the track session is something I haven't decided yet. I can take this bike with modified tires, one option. I can rent a Apache RR310 there, or an Apache 200. I'm trying to figure out if I can get a big bike from someone just to ride for 2 days. But the problem with renting or leasing or taking someone else's bike is you won't have the same confidence. One would feel more comfortable on their own bike than on any rental bike, be it chicane here on an R15 or the MMRT on the RC390. I was more comfortable on my second track session on my own Scrambler than on any other bike. I mean, I was getting used to the RC390 pretty quickly than I did on the R15 at chicane, but it's just that I was not pushing it to the limit I can achieve, not the bike's limit, by the way. It can do quite a lot, but for my limit also I was not reaching there, because it's a rental bike. I didn't feel comfortable risking it for a fall or something. I mean, if I drop this bike, I can figure out ways to get it repaired on my own terms. If it's a rental bike, there will be security deposit, or you have to pay immediately. So all those headaches are something I want to avoid in the long run, because I'm sure from next year I'll do more track sessions. Like how many would depend on weather. Like when I was in Coimbatore in July or August, it was hardly raining, but October mein Chennai it started raining. So you never know, seasons have changed quite a lot. If weather permits and stays consistent, October, November, December, Jan, Feb, these are the 5 months where you can ride, and maybe 4 to 6 sessions. So yeah, I don't know how many sessions I'll end up doing, but thoroughly enjoying it. I hope you're also enjoying the track focus content. Let me know in the comment section. For now, just let me enjoy the KBR stretch, and we'll catch you guys in a short while. Till the time my bike's work is done, which will take approximately 2 to 3 hours, I thought I'll take a short test drive of the Monster and get an opinion, because this is something very interesting. Ooh, good brakes. This would be kind of that entry-level bike for a track. Scrambler is not meant to be ridden on a track, but if I have to, let's say, get something very sporty, obviously I would prefer a fully fed version like an R6 or something in the middleweight category. But Ducati has V2, but that's costing almost 22 lakhs on road. So this would cost roughly 15 or something. And in this price category we also have this Triumph Street Triple RS, Kawasaki Z900, what else, BMW F900R. All these can be a bit more sporty than what I have, the Scrambler. I mean, if I knew I was so into track riding when I picked up my Scrambler, or when I was about to buy my Scrambler, this would have been definitely a consideration. But I think this didn't release at that point of time. One thing I immediately noticed on this bike is how light and nimble this is, man. My Scrambler has an 18-inch front wheel. This has a 17, and you can see in terms of how maneuverable this bike is in the city. I like the engine note. Oh, idiots. And that quick shifter, dude. It does downshift, auto blipper. It's not as refined as a Triumph, but I think this has better low end and mid end power and performance than the Triumph. I love the Ducati quick shifters, man. See, downshifts and upshifts are so smooth. Obviously this is a new bike, but still. This would be so much fun on the track, man. Only thing is you won't get the similar lean angles like a V2 or a Super Sport, but still, yeah, it's the rider who's supposed to lean and not the bike. Okay, let's talk quickly about few things that I noticed so far. Rides a bit on the sportier side, obviously for a Ducati, and handling is top notch, 10 out of 10. At least in the short test drive. Design is subjective. Some might like the headlight. I think most are not a big fan of the headlight, but rest of the body is completely transformed to the previous generation Monster. Previous generation Monster is similar to my Scrambler. Heavy, old school, but has a unique charm to its own. But this Scrambler is completely revamped. That's not from the bike. Pataka. Performance wise, it's in the sport mode, so I think I'm getting the full performance. On the new SP version, I think there is a race mode, if I'm not wrong. I might be wrong, but it has all-in suspension, which is so important because the front suspension on this is not adjustable. And if anyone's wondering, is adjusting suspension important? Depends on your personal taste, but let's say if you're going ahead in your track riding skills and all, then you want to fine tune it a bit, how the front and the rear feels. Time to listen to the exhaust note. Decent exhaust note. Give it an Akrapovic. I'm sure this will sound a lot better. Since we have been in that traffic signal and here, I got to say that the heat management is much better. I think I'm noticing a slight change in the heat management of Ducatis recently. We're first with the Multistrada V4S, which was amazing in heat management. All the heat was going that way, not to the rider. They do get out, obviously. It's a very tight package, but you don't feel it as a rider. And even on this, I'm hardly feeling anything on my bum or on my legs. Everything is diverted well. It says 94. There's a 4.7-inch instrument cluster. And basic menu, you control it with the joystick here. Riding modes, they have sport, touring, urban, back, exit. It's at 99, but I'm not feeling any heat here. And now the fans already kicked in, so need to be careful with these idiots. Those pops and bangs when you downshift, man. Perfecto. And good thing with this bike is you can get through the traffic so easily. I vaguely remember how a Street Triple RS feels. It feels little bigger and heavier. This feels much more lighter and compact. Perfect for a city use. Anyway, what else to talk about? It has Brembo master cylinder. Brakes are Brembo. I think M32s or M40s. Need to double check. The front and rear are Rosso 3s. I'm planning to upgrade my rear on the Scrambler to a Rosso 3 for track session, so this would give me a good feel of how they feel. They're obviously better than the MT60s that I have. Only problem that I see with this Monster is the pricing. This would cost around 15 on road, but you would get a Street Triple RS for roughly 14, so that's undercutting quite a lot, and that's equivalent to SP version on this. It has adjustable all-in suspension, more power. I think Street Triple has 123 horsepower, this has 111. Also, I'm not a fan of how these wires are visible. Typically in other Ducatis they are not that visible, they are hidden inside a frame. Here engine is the load bearing structure, there is no trailerless frame like the Monster. Pujar garu Ducati bonda. Air temperatures around 37, but bike temperatures around 100, and I'm perfectly fine. Radiator's doing a good job. Change the mode to urban mode because that's what people would use mostly in the city. Decent power even in urban mode. and I just love the quick shifter, dude. That this clutch feels slightly heavier, so I think that quick shifter really helps in traffic. Let's try to change the riding mode to sport. I like the graphic display of the bike here. Oh, you can customize it too. Engines in full power. Traction control at the rear wheel can be adjusted. ABS can be adjusted. Wheelie control. Quick shifter can be adjusted. Up, down. Nice, man. Lot of customizations in this bike. Anyway, that's it for the first ride impressions of the Monster. This was not planned. I just thought I was in the showroom, so thought I'll just get it done with. Hope you liked it. We'll have to wait probably another 2-3 hours to get the Scrambler back and then go home. Always some surprises when visiting a service center. Irrespective of the brand, this happened in BMW, Triumph, Ducati. They say the work is done. I think this happened even in cars also. They say the work is done, and when you come and when you have OCD, for me it was about how the wires were routed, how they were rubbing against the handlebar stem. But talking about the handlebar, that's a new handlebar, guys. If you remember, previously my riding posture used to be like this here. Now it's this way, and the stock handlebar used to be here, much more comfortable. So in that regard, somewhere in between, this is a handlebar from the 1100 Sport Pro version. So I thought this would be perfect in terms of both the track and also in the street. I like the feel of this handlebar. It's not too relaxing or too sporty, somewhere in between, and I like the flat look. Anyway, enough batakani about a bike. Shriman and Panda are nearby, so just catching up with them. And tomorrow there is a breakfast ride with Ducati. Still in 2 minds whether to go or not. Let's see.